council meeting. Yes, ma'am.
We did this last year. We're going to do it this year. I'm doing right. 226 West L. Weeds from the gym all the way down or up to my head. Nothing has been done for I don't know how long. Those weeds still need to be cut, and that those who have a problem, they need to do something about it. But, you know, people, I see cigarette butts laying all around in my yard even. You know, when that grass dries, we're gonna have a fire. So something needs to be done.
Have they been ticketed?
Oh, yes.
That's what I said. I don't know.
Absolutely. That's more than one time that has been ticketed and adjudicated, and we're just getting no response out of the ownership.
And I assume we're moving up the ladder and
Yes.
escalating for that.
That's exactly right.
Are there any other appearances or petitions from the audience? Current business number 1, consideration and possible action to approve the claim from Bank of Oklahoma Corporate Trust in the amount of $23,040 for principal plus interest due on general obligation bond series 1996 to be paid from the sinking fund. Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 2, consideration and possible action to approve the fourth quarter claim from OMAG for liability and auto insurance in the amount of $29,399.64. This is a general government budgeted item for the current fiscal year.
Move to approve. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 3, consideration and possible action to approve the claim for the Oklahoma Municipal League for fiscal year 2009-10 fees in the amount of $6,830. This is a general government budgeted item for the upcoming fiscal year.
Move its approval. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 4, consideration and possible action to approve the annual lease of Euler Park to Seminole State College effective July 1st, 2009 and ending June 30th, 2010 in the amount of $1. Seminole State College as lessee will also pay for electricity and natural gas used in the operations. This lease agreement has not changed from the previous year.
Move for approval. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 5, consideration and possible action to approve the contract with Development by Design Incorporated for consultation services regarding exercise equipment for the Donald W. Reynolds Center. Cost of the service agreement is not to exceed $5,000 and is an allowable expense of the awarded grant from the Donald W. Reynolds Foundation.
Move its approval. Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 6, consideration and possible action to approve entering into an agreement with Energy Lease Brokerage Incorporated and/or Jerry Scott Drilling Company for the drilling of the Seminole City No. 1 well under one of the following alternatives. Participate in the well by paying your proportionate share of all costs attributable thereto, or 2, lease the city's interest to Scott for a cash bonus of $100 per acre, royalty provision of 3/16 for a year of primary term. You wrote that, didn't you, Brad?
I did not, actually.
Who determines the alternative?
The city council
Your choice.
gets your choice.
Then I would move the approval with alternative 2.
At what point do we do that?
I think this is it. This is, we're being asked what we want to do. They're saying they're moving forward with the drilling of the well, and you need to make a decision which way you want to go.
I've got a motion for option 2, which is leasing the city's interest for $100 per acre with the royalty provision of 3/16 for a year primary term.
Second.
Roll call, please, Jay.
Bill Wantland?
Yes.
Chris Anson?
Yes.
Dee Dee Patterson?
Yes.
Gary Hout?
Yes.
Terry Thomason?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Number 7, Consideration and possible action to address a citizen complaint at the intersection of Wilson, Main and Lloyd Simmons by placing a stop sign northbound on Main and removing the eastbound yield sign on Wilson as recommended by the Planning Commission in a 4-3 vote. Did y'all get a copy of it?
Yeah.
Carol, what was staff's recommendation on that for the public's knowledge?
It was a 4-3 vote, wasn't it?
Staff recommendation was to make no change. There has only been one accident recorded there in the past 26 months.
Putting as recommended, putting a stop sign there, that is basically the flow of the traffic that from Main Street. I mean, most generally it's a flow.
Mike, do we have any traffic counts in terms of going north on Main there versus coming off of Wilson?
Well, I would think removing that yield sign on Wilson would allow the people coming down that road to come around that corner much faster than what they're doing. And I think it's going to become more hazardous.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I agree too.
I would agree with that. I don't think the yield sign should be removed. I'm not sure the stop sign is.
Carol, could you?
You also have people coming south off of
Lloyd Simmons, yeah.
They have the right of way, and the people coming off of Wilson don't yield to them.
Yeah, but the yield's already there. I mean,
It's there.
that's an
Nobody
enforcement
yields.
issue.
Putting a stop sign there is not going to correct the problem.
Mr. Mayor, could I follow up on that? Carol, can you expand a little bit on the discussion at the Planning Commission? Can you tell what the pros and cons were?
Well, I will say that they were very conflicted, as you can see by my memo that I turned in and by the Planning Commission minutes. They took 2 votes. The first vote was to make no change, and that vote failed, but then they voted on this one. One of the other options they looked at was to place stop signs all 3 directions. They didn't get to that one voting. I don't know that that would be a feasible solution either. They just all felt like the intersection was a problem and that something needed to be done.
The biggest question I have is if you are turning west on Main after heading north and you're turning south off of Lloyd Simmons, who really has the right-of-way there?
Yeah, the car on the right has the right of way. Lloyd Simmons.
You're saying you're turning south off of Lloyd Simmons on.
In other words, you're coming up Main turning this way and the other person coming this way.
Lloyd
And so
Simmons
you
has
kinda-
the right of way. Essentially, the thought is that Lloyd Simmons and Main Street are
Contiguous?
are basically one street,
Right.
and Wilson is penetrating that one street as if it were east-west versus north-south.
Would it not be feasible, I mean, if there is a stop sign, to put one on Wilson and replace
That's what I
the
was thinking. Instead of
replace
a
the
yield,
yield
put a
sign?
stop sign. Because if Main and Lloyd Simmons are contiguous or considered the same street, why would you stop there? Why not just put the stop sign on Wilson?
Yeah, I think the confusion is what you just mentioned, the fact that it is a right turn rather than a north-south street, that the cars that are turning left as they're facing north, as they turn left onto Wilson Street, the confusion is, do I have the right-of-way or does this car coming across my path, do they have the right-of-way? Typically, I think the car coming to the right would have the right-of-way, but there is confusion, and I can see where that might cause collision. But
Well, I think if you're turning in front of somebody, you probably should stop.
Yeah, I mean, if you're taking a left turn at Walmart, I don't need a stop sign to not pull out. Do we know on the only wreck that's occurred there